Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series in the MPC Live 2, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Today, we're going to talk about tracks, but I'm going to have to get into sequences a little bit and programs a little bit to actually talk about them. So, an important thing to know about a track is this is where you're going to be saving all of your MIDI note data effectively. And I'm just going to load a program up so that we can actually play around with this. It doesn't really matter what I load up. We're just loading up that. And if you don't know, a lot of these buttons have double tap features. So that's what the text underneath is. If I'm in the main menu, I can really quickly double tap menu and come into the browser. So I just loaded up a kit, and I need that so that I can actually record notes into the track. So I can just come in and record this real quick. I don't know that I did great. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know that I did great hitting the timing. I can fix some of this. And all I'm doing is I just double tapped main to get into grid view so I can see the track. Now, a couple things and how I usually try and think about stuff. And I keep telling you in the previous videos, make sure you're naming things. Like, you could just create this track and call it drums and just have all your drum notes on it. That's not usually the best way to go about it though. So I would personally say kick. And I know we've got kick and snare in here, but what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hit copy track. I'm going to copy track 1 to track 2. And all I did was hit the pencil button here. And I'm going to rename this to snare and hit do it. And now you're going to know I'm going to have the kick and snare hits on track 1. And I'm going to have the kick and snare hits on track 2. So to fix this, I'm going to come in. I'm just double tapping main. I'm going to hit erase. And I'm just going to erase the snare from track 1. And then I'm going to double tap. I'm going to hit erase and hit the kick and erase the kick from track 2. The reason why I'm doing this might seem a little convoluted and kind of annoying to begin with, but if I hit play now, I can use mute. I can mute the kick. I can mute the snare. If I want to go to track 1, I can mute the kick. So now we just have the snare going. And with this, I can now make a hats track. And I want you to know, or note, I'm just using the same program. You can load as many programs as you want. So I could load in another program if I like the hats on something else. It's not a big deal. You just kind of touch on here or double tap so you can get the list of all the programs you got loaded. You can just load in what you want, but I can come in now and do this. So I just created a hats track. Now, I could use this mute and solo button I can hit solo, just a solo, so I don't have the hats going. Probably, like if you got a full track sequence going on, probably not what you want, but I can now hit mute. And with this mute button pressed just one time, I'm by default going to come into the whatever sequence I'm on, and I can hit the buttons to mute and unmute tracks if I want to. You can turn timing correct on so that it will be in whatever time division you're on. So I usually put it personally on quarter notes. So like when I hit see it, it won't happen until I'm on like the 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. So we can move around real quick. And I personally like to use this as a way to build up tracks or play things live because it makes it a lot easier. Although I will note, and the thing that I've talked about in the past is the MPC usually has multiple ways to do stuff. So what would it look like if we didn't do this? Let's go mute all of these. I'm going to mute all of them. I'm going to go to track 4 and let's just do the same thing. So I just basically more or less recreated the track. It's not exactly the same, but I can come in here. If I hit mute again, I can now see, I think because the other tracks are muted, it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. but I can come in now and mute and unmute different tracks if I double tap mute, because it's basically giving me the view here to mute the specific pads versus muting the tracks. I'm not saying one's better than the other. Personally, I prefer to mute tracks because you can do track mute automation, whereas doing pad mutes, it's potentially just too many layers of mutes and can get really confusing. So I'm going to end the video here, but I just want you to know, like, personally, I would spend the time to kind of split out and work through. And I'm just going through and clearing this just so that there's nothing on track 4, because I'm going to use this in some more videos and kind of keep showing you guys some more stuff. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good, and peace.